Okay, so welcome to chapter 8. It's all about arrays, well, arrays and more. So there's I don't know, there's a couple sections on GUI design, a few little things in there, but for the most part, we're all about arrays in this chapter. So I wanted to walk through just really quickly the schedule for the week, and then just give you like 2 minutes on arrays. So really quickly, you can see obviously we're starting out with this video, and then the PowerPoint. Don't forget these links that are all listed in here are also in the PowerPoint. I put them in there with the page number where you can find where you can find where they're listed and what the activities are that they go with. So anyway, so as you're walking through the PowerPoint, I know you guys have seen that, but just a reminder. All right. So anyway, the videos for these are all front loaded, really. So all three of these videos are out of the first section. The accessing array elements goes in there with a little section kind of at the beginning, and then you have two videos here that go with tutorials. So it's all front loaded stuff. And then the lottery simulation program. This is the programming challenge number 10 for this chapter. I did not assign this, but this is just a video that was available, so I put it in here in case you guys are curious or wanted more practice or whatever, and you're like, hey, let's see what this one's about. All right, so anyway, under assignments this week, don't forget about my programming lab. Just the first two sections. I didn't assign anything else, so really just getting you to practice. There's some calculation stuff and just walking you through arrays. It's one of the only places where you get instant feedback, so I really like my programming lab stuff. Don't forget the solutions tab, so you can click on that if you get stuck on something. And then as far as programs go, the very first one, so largest and smallest array values, and there's a video that goes with that. And then I also like this one, adding students to clubs, very similar to something we've done before, but now it's array based. There's a video that goes with that too. And then we have these are design your owns. So there's two other ones in here. So soccer team, score application, then this phone number lookup, and then the video tutorials for the kayak rental application. Remember that this is kind of an overview of things from the chapter, and it might be a good idea to run through this set of video tutorials for the kayak rental before you start these other programs, or at least maybe before you start these two. So it's up to you, but it's sort of designed as hey, practice this stuff, then go ahead and go do all this stuff. So I know I've heard from some of you that say you like doing that one first before all the other assignments. So anyway, if you haven't done that, you might try doing it this time and see if it helps. Okay, so that's that little piece there on assignments. You notice the dates for all these are December 2nd. So I wanted to spend 2 weeks on the arrays chapter. Just happened to be that Thanksgiving, falls right now, so it's just the way it goes. It doesn't happen in the spring because, well, we don't have Thanksgiving. We have spring break at a different time. So anyway, so I wanted to keep the 2 weeks, and so you'll have this week to mess around, and then enjoy Thanksgiving. Don't think about Visual Basic or any of your other classes. Have a good time with your families, and then coming back the next week. I think we come back on a Monday. It's like the 26th, I think, of November. So you'll have that second week to really, drill down into this and get these done. So if you want to get them done earlier, great. But anyway, make sure you take off Thanksgiving week. I'm not giving you this and saying, hey, get this done and spend Thanksgiving doing Visual Basic. All right. So anyway, let's take a look just really quickly. I wanted to point this out for some veterans that may have seen. I'm kind of scrolling down through the PowerPoint here. So I know it's off camera here, but you'll see in a second. I'm going to stop here. So this is slide 9. And I just wanted to show you in declaring an array. Now, an array is basically a list. Okay, so when you see the word array, you go, oh, what does this even mean? It's basically a list. So you have, a list of numbers. Like this will be a list of integers, or you could have, you could have a string list, and you could have, I guess. I don't know if I think about me, it'd be like maybe my Costco list, of things that I need to get. All right. So it can be a list of almost anything. You'll see that they will match up and be the same type. Notice this is declared as integers, so we're going to store all integers in here. We're not mixing these, and so you'll stay consistent with that in this piece. But the thing I wanted to point out for veterans really quickly before I talk about the basics of arrays is that you notice as you're declaring this in other languages, you will see as you're declaring, and even if you're a newbie to this, you can see that this is declaring. It's a little bit different, but we have int hours as integer, and so this is defining an array called int hours, going to store integers, and it has a 6 here. So in other languages, if you're familiar with some other things, usually when you're declaring an array, you'll see a 6 here. That means it will store 6 items. So you have basically 6 elements stored in there. That's what we refer to with whatever store. It's one of the keywords they use as elements. So we have 6 here, but Visual Basic is a little bit different. In other languages, that would mean you're going to have subscript. See how this goes from 0, 1, 2. These are storage locations. Notice how 6 is included. In other languages, we would not have this piece here. It would store 6 values, and it would go from 0 to 5. But we're actually in Visual Basic, you actually, if you see 6 here, that means there are 7 elements being stored because you also include 0, but this 6 is defining the top value for your subscript, sometimes called index, depends on the location you're looking and reading about it. So anyway, so we have that little piece there. So anyway, if you're like, hey, 6, oh boom, I'm gonna go from 0 to 5. If you're a veteran of another language, that's not necessarily true. So you have to look at this in Visual Basic, know that this technically means 7 if you think about it that way. So anyway, so that's that. If you're a newbie, then great. This number to you just means that that is the top index value or subscript value that you're going to have up here. So great. And you always start at 0. So there we go. So that's that. Let me show you. Let me just scroll down here again real quick. And in 13. So this is slide 13, just to show you. So we are assuming if we're storing a value, and this is what we're trying to do here. So we're saying, okay, we're going to put 100 in here at the 0 element location or 0 subscript location. We're going to store this particular value, 100 as my element there. So I've got that piece in for that. This is for 1, 2, 3. So obviously you can see that, right? So a previously declared array, right? So we don't have that piece in here, but if you take a look at this, okay, so that's what's being stored in there. So you can see if you're referring to a location, if I'm looking at this and I look at the int numbers 2, then this has been 300 has been stored. That's the value that's been stored in there. That's that particular element or value that is stored in that location. So it's a list of things. And just think about it in terms of this is just a storage location. So arrays, simple lists. And you saw kind of how it worked with declaring them over here a little bit, just taking a look at this piece. So that's what that number is referring to. All right. So that's just a really quick, kind of intro into arrays. And again, it messes me up every time I see this because I learned mainly in other languages where 6 actually means 6 values 0 to 5. So anyway, top value in VB is the way to look at this number. All right. So that's it. Wish you an early happy Thanksgiving and enjoy the break, and then have fun working with arrays.